While you're watching this video right now, most drivers out there are wrecking their own car without even knowing it. And here's the thing, most of the time it's not the mechanic's fault, it's not the age of the vehicle, and it's not the condition of the road. The real cause is driving habits that seem harmless, but day after day, they wear down the suspension, mess with the steering, kill the brakes, and in some cases, put the safety of everyone in the car at risk. And the funny part is, most of these folks are absolutely convinced they're good drivers. So I put together the most common mistakes that are slowly tearing your car apart, without making a sound. Stick around to the end because the last mistake on this list is going to change the way you drive from here on out. Before we get into it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because every week I bring you content like this to help you save money and avoid headaches with your car. Number 1. Hitting a speed bump while braking. This is one of the mistakes that destroys your suspension the fastest, mainly because almost everybody does it without realizing. The driver spots the speed bump, slams the brakes, and rolls over it with their foot still on the pedal. Here's the problem, when you brake hard, all the car's weight shifts forward and the front suspension is already compressed. Now if the wheels hit that bump at that exact moment, the impact goes straight up, vertically, with no give left to absorb the shock. Over time, you'll see it show up as leaking shocks, cracked bushings, that annoying clunk over every pothole, and a suspension that wears out way faster than it should. The right way to do it is brake before the bump. Then ease off the brake pedal right before you roll over it. That way the car can absorb the impact naturally, instead of taking the whole hit at once. Number 2. Turning the wheel while the car is standing still. This second habit wears down your steering little by little, and almost nobody connects the dots. You know the move, you park the car, and while it's sitting there, you crank the wheel all the way to one side just to adjust your position. What most folks don't realize is that when the car isn't moving, the tire doesn't roll, it just drags across the pavement. And that dragging, that dead friction, puts a ton of extra strain on the steering rack, the power steering pump, the tie rod ends, and even the electric power steering systems that come on most vehicles today. Over time, that turns into play in the steering wheel, noise when you turn, and a repair bill that's a lot higher than it needs to be. Only crank the wheel all the way over if you're actually about to move. Other than that, try not to hold the wheel turned all the way with the car parked, because that forces the pump to work under maximum pressure for absolutely no reason. Number 3. Only looking at the car in front of you. This one might be the most dangerous of the bunch, because most drivers lock their eyes right on the bumper in front of them, and that's a real problem. If you actually know how to drive, you need to be looking way further down the road. You've got to track traffic several cars ahead, so you can react seconds before something happens, not at the last second. Here's why that matters. Your reaction time doesn't come down to how fast your foot hits the brake, it comes down to how fast your brain spots the danger in the first place. If you're only watching the car right in front of you, you're always going to notice trouble too late, even if you slam the brakes the moment you see it. Number 4. Cranking the wheel past its limit. This is the most common mistake among folks parallel parking or squeezing into a tight spot. The driver turns the wheel until it won't go any further, and then keeps pushing it against the mechanical stop inside the steering rack. At that point, the power steering pump is still working full blast, trying to push fluid into a system that's got nowhere left to send it. It's like putting your thumb over a running hose. The pressure has nowhere to go. Over time, that shows up as overheated power steering fluid, worn-out seals, and a pump that goes from a quiet hum to a high-pitched whine, which is a classic sign it's on its last leg. Number 5. Mirrors set up the wrong way. If you can see half of your own car's body in your side mirror, I can promise you it's set up wrong. Yeah, you heard that right. Your mirrors aren't there so you can admire your own paint job. They're there to kill your blind spots. The correct setup is to angle the mirror out until you can barely see the edge of your door handle, just a sliver of it. That opens up your peripheral vision a lot more and genuinely cuts down your risk of an accident, especially when you're changing lanes. Number 6. Hitting the clutch too early. For you manual transmission guys, this next one is a big one for burning through brakes faster than you should, and a lot of drivers do it without even realizing it's a mistake. When it's time to slow down, they hit the clutch and the brake at the same time, thinking they're doing the right thing. But that's actually backwards. And here's why. When you do that, you disconnect the engine from the wheels too early, and you lose all the help engine braking would have given you during that deceleration. Once the clutch is in, The brakes are doing all the work by themselves, with zero help from the engine. The right way to do it is hit the brake first, and only push in the clutch once the car is nearly stopped. That one change alone will add real life to your brake system. Number 7. Holding the wheel the wrong way. A lot of guys drive with their hands wherever, or even cross their arms going into a turn, and that's dangerous because in an emergency, that's exactly the moment you can lose control of the car, right when you need it most. The correct grip is left hand at 9 o'clock and right hand at 3 o'clock, like the wheel is a clock face. Holding it that way gives you way more control of the car and lets you react fast if you suddenly need to correct your steering. Number 8. Resting your hand on the shifter while you drive. This one's almost second nature for a lot of guys. Driving with one hand on the wheel and the other resting on the shifter feels natural, maybe even a little cool. But here's the problem, that extra weight, even though it seems small, sits constantly on the shift fork. That's the part inside the transmission responsible for engaging the gears. It wasn't built to handle constant pressure, it was designed to work only during the split second of a gear change, then go back to rest. When your hand stays parked there the whole drive, the fork wears down little by little, and the symptoms show up months later. Gears that feel like they're not fully engaging, the shifter popping into neutral on its own, or that grinding noise that only shows up once the transmission's already on its way out. Number 9. Always running on a nearly empty tank. A lot of people put off filling up until the last possible minute, whether it's to skip a trip to the gas station or just plain habit, and they have no idea the damage it's doing. In most modern cars, the fuel pump sits inside the tank itself, submerged in gasoline, and that fuel is actually what keeps the pump cool while it's running. When the tank level stays low all the time, the pump ends up sucking in air along with fuel a good chunk of the time, without that constant cooling bath. Run it that way day after day, and it runs hotter than it should, wears out way ahead of schedule, and of course the problem always seems to pick the worst possible moment to show up, the car dying in the middle of traffic, or just not starting the next time you turn the key. If you made it this far, you probably recognized at least one of these mistakes in your own driving, and that right there is the first step to saving yourself some real money. Out of everything I covered today, the one that gets the most debate among gearheads is definitely engine braking. Some guys swear it saves their brake pads, other guys think it's a bunch of nonsense. Let me know in the comments, do you use engine braking day to day, or do you just trust the pedal? And if you want to stop losing money on your car for good, check out the next video popping up on your screen right now. It's going to show you exactly how to avoid the mistakes that cost the most in repairs.